This week on No Cell Service, our hosts cover the 13th episode of Into the Dark, Uncanny Annie. This content is intended for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is advised.
So I suggested this movie, and I had originally watched it in 2019 when it came out. I have not watched it since, and I was like, I remember this being a pretty good movie. Initial thoughts, without getting too much into it.
It was a great Halloween movie.
So I think one of the things that I found in my research that made me enjoy it a little bit more is the director was like, I wanted to make a kids horror movie with blood and swearing.
Okay, yeah,
and
that
with
makes sense.
that understing, when I watched it this time, I was like, yeah, no, that's exactly what this is.
That makes a lot of sense. Because, like, it was a lot in the beginning. I just think because, and I'm just going to preface this now, like, we'll talk about it, obviously, but, like, the first, like, 20 minutes is just, like, a bunch of college kids shooting the shit.
Yep.
And, like, talking about board games and their, like, interpersonal relationships, like, their fucking drama, as much drama as you can have as a college student.
Yeah, and so they don't even say two of the characters' names for a hot second. You're just like, I knew I had the subtitles on. So they say in the subtitles who everyone is. But, like, as everyone's talking, I'm like, okay, random college guy number 1 through 3. Like, who's talking?
Yeah, but, I mean, before we get ahead of ourselves, it does start out in just, like, this
Void.
Black, like, an empty void. It's just, like, a space. And then you see this kid, like, running through the void, like, panicking, kind of like...
He's running around. He's dressed like he is supposed to be from the 90s if you've never known what the 90s actually was. That was my best guess, is like he's trying to look like he's from the 90s.
Yeah, the
sideways yellow cap.
He watched like
Saved by the Bell.
I was literally gonna say a few too many episodes of Saved by the Bell. That's fucking hilarious. But Jesus.
He's running around. He's scared. You don't know why he's scared. And then this Victorian-esque girl appears. No, does she appear?
Yeah,
she appears,
she,
right?
like, appears off in the distance, and then he's like, whoa!
And laughs, and then you hear scream, and then it cuts, and you get the opening sequence, right? The intro to, like, oh, these actors are in it, the director's in it, and it's all... They kind of remind me of tarot cards in a way. Like, the way the cards are drawn, but it's obvious, it's the board game that we're about to get into, but... I love the style that they drew the cards in. That hashy, sketchy, like, style just creeps me the fuck out. Like, it gives you such a good vibe right off the bat.
It's, like, scratchy. You know, like... And I've seen that done in, like, a lot of horror video games. Like, people will make the entire art style for a game this, like, scratchy, like, the lines on the walls are, like, you know, it's all wiggly. It's meant to be, like,
it's not
disorganized
clean.
And
yeah.
It's jarring.
It's a really good style for horror, and I actually like it in a style in general because in what is it? Guts. What is that anime? Main character's guts. Berserker. Berserk? Have you seen Berserk? Mm-mm. Oh, I'm gonna get flagged for this, for knowing what this is.
I know about the beginning of Berserk.
So Berserk, in the manga, it has a very similar style of, like, when they freak out, like, they have all of those lines, and that's what it makes me think of, but, like, so that line sketch of action happening, but, like, more chaotic.
Yeah, it's like how to, portraying intense emotion. After the, like, opening sequence, it falls into a bunch of these college guys playing D&D,
and they don't seem to care that they're playing D&D because a guy knocks it over and they're like, bro, what the fuck? And they're, like, not even that upset about it. And let me tell you, if I was in the middle of a fight, like, they were fighting a Hydra. Yeah. They were all set up with their game, and if a homie knocked it over, I would be so sad.
His friend's like, dude, nobody cares. Like, it's just a game. And it's like, yeah, but... You're not the fucking DM. You don't understand what went into this. Shut up.
And there's one of the dudes is definitely dressed like a tiefling. I think he looks like a tiefling, but he might have been a demon. He's decked in all red with horns and stuff.
Yeah.
And so 3 of the 5, whatever, the group of college students, 2 of them leave. they're not important. Throwaway characters for this opening sequence. And then a shirtless guy with a Santa Claus hat comes down. Yeah. And then we learn this is our core group of boys who will be part of this.
They're all the roommates in the house.
That kind of feels like a frat house, but I don't think it is.
It seems more just like a house that they all... Actually, no, I think it is a frat house, because the way they have it set up is very, like...
It's frat-like.
Yeah, it's frat-like 100%.
But then Santa Claus hat guy is like, I'll deduct it from your rent. And so I was like, what does that mean?
It's so funny, though, because my favorite line from the entire movie comes from, like, when he comes down and his friend, I can't remember, Curtis? Craig, sorry.
So we have Craig and Peter. Peter is the DM, or the game master. And then you have Craig, who is dressed as a knight.
Yeah.
And then we have Michael is Santa Claus.
Yeah, Michael comes down with the Santa Claus hat, and Craig is like, dude, why are you wearing a Santa Claus hat? And Michael's just like, because it's fucking Halloween. And it just, I don't know why, but that shit just caught me off guard and had me fucking laughing so hard.
Yeah, I did not like him off the bat, but that line
No,
is very
I don't
good.
like him, but it was just like, holy shit. But no, again, like, we get this type of just, like, college-y banter.
And then they name drop without us knowing a lot of the characters.
They name drop a lot of people because they're trying to establish that, like, oh, they've, like, dated other people and, like, they've had relationships with other people. And while they do only talk about, like...
important characters.
Yeah, they essentially only talk about characters that we'll, like, see or, like, it'll be important, but...
They name drop Tony. This is the first one that we hear about, like, who the fuck is Tony? And you're like, okay. And then Wendy is upstairs, and that's Michael's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And Wendy invited her girls over, and Craig is like, she invite Eve? Are you fucking kidding me? I needed to be prepared if she invited Eve. It's his ex-girlfriend. Don't know how long they've been broken up for, but it's been a second, and they're still not okay. And then Grace. And so that's our core 6 group of people we're going to be dealing with. We cut upstairs to Michael going upstairs to talk to Wendy, who is getting dressed up as a goth vampire. And he immediately kisses her after she spent, like, a good minute applying that black lipstick. And I was like, I'm not allowed to kiss my wife as soon as her lipstick is put on. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, that doesn't happen. No, and then, of course, he does the typical, like, horny young man. He's just like, take it all off. And she's like, I just got ready. Like, I have people coming over. He's like, I don't care, take off.
She's like, no, we're doing this for Tony. This is serious. And he's like, you're right. That's insensitive of me. And this is the second time we get a mention of Tony. And so you're starting to get the sense, I don't think they explicitly state it yet, but like something bad happened to Tony. Tony's probably dead, is the sense you kind of get at this point.
Yeah.
Because this whole Halloween night is in remembrance of Tony.
Yeah.
And so then we get back downstairs and the girls have arrived. Eve is dressed as a dead cheerleader and Grace is dressed as, I believe she's supposed to be Carrie. I don't think they ever state, but she has the prom queen sash on. She has the crown. She has, her makeup looks like she's been crying very purposely. Looks like she's been crying. Yeah. I think she's supposed to be Carrie. Yeah. Her and Peter are starting to hit it off right away. And then...
Oh, God. She delivers a really cringy line. She's like... Oh, is that what did she say? She's like, oh, is that a money cat? I love Japanese culture. And then just like walks out of the frame. And I'm like, okay, man, I get it. Like, you gotta get her out of there. But like,
so then her and Peter walk off and Craig and Eve talk for a second. Wendy pulls Eve and is like, let's go take shots. And poor Grace gets stuck with all 3 boys. She does not know them. Grace is that outlier and she's the new one who's got pulled in just for tonight, just to hang out. I think it was Wendy's attempt to make sure Peter wasn't alone. Not gonna lie. So she brings Grace in. And Grace gets left with all 3 boys. They all look at her like, what the fuck? Because she pops the top of a beer bottle with another beer bottle and they're like, all nerds, so that they think she's hella cool at that point. And then she sits down and is like, statistically, one of you is a rapist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that immediately just drops that. And then they're all the guys are just like, okay.
No one knows what to say to that.
Yeah.
And the girls are taking shots in the kitchen, and Wendy's making sure Eve's okay, and Eve is like, yeah, it's still kind of raw. We're doing this for Tony. I'm here for you. And then I couldn't tell if Tony was supposed to be like Wendy's brother or something, because everyone kind of leans into Wendy being the one wanting to like have this night and have the whole thing for Tony. but it's never really explicitly stated.
Was it explicitly for her, or was it like, or like, meaning like, was she like facilitating the whole thing, or was it more of just like she was trying to keep Michael's shit together because like she could be like the glue of the friend group, because like that's what she kind of gave the whole movie, is like the glue.
Yeah, that's what I couldn't tell, whether or not she was like the de facto leader, like maybe she's the nucleus of the friend group who brought everyone together. At least in this situation she is, right? Because Grace only knows her. Or I guess Grace also knows Eve, but I couldn't tell if she was the mom friend, if she was Tony's brother or sister, sorry, or if like, I don't know. I think I ended up landing on like mom friend or like nucleus glue of the central, because she is kind of like our main girl. Not in a direct way, because we don't really follow her specifically, but we do get a little bit more of her. Like, we got to see, like, the background between her and Michael, and then her talking to Eve. I think we get kind of more establishing shots with Wendy than we kind of do anybody else.
Yeah.
So the girls take really bad shots. You cut back to the living room where Grace and the boys are sitting, and she's like, so what the hell happened to Tony? Like, she says it nice, sir, but not with a lot of tact. She even says, like, I'm sorry if this is insensitive, but, like, what happened to Tony? She doesn't know. And they're like, she's like, he died in less than 6 inches of water. How does that even happen? And Michael, like, snaps and is like, well, it happened. He's not here. And she's like, okay, my bad. Like, that was insensitive.
Yeah.
But then they kind of, like, reminisce a little bit and talk about how he was, like, a big board game guy. Like, he would play games that took you hours to play. Like, that was his thing. And so tonight they're just going to play board games, and they don't want to go out. They just kind of want to have a nice chill day and remember Tony in the way he probably would have wanted to be remembered.
Because it's been a year, right?
Yes.
Like,
so
it's been a full year, so this is like their anniversary of like...
Yeah, and from what it seems like, I think he either died on Halloween or like the night before Halloween. It's right around Halloween time that he died.
Yeah, I think... I'll tell you my reasons why I think it was Halloween night, but you know, we'll talk about that later.
And so they send Eve to go downstairs. Well, Eve gets up to go get board games, and then they're like, oh, bitch, they moved. They're downstairs. You gotta go down to the basement. And Michael's like, hey, by the way, lights don't work. Have fun. And Craig is trying to be... He's a little pushy here, and I don't like it. Where he's like, I can do it. I can do it. You don't have to do it. I can do it. And she's like, I got it. Sit the fuck down. Like, let me go get it. She goes downstairs, and I looked, because, like, you get an up-close shot of the board games, and it was, like, for a guy who I'm assuming lived here and left all of his board games here, he does not have that many board games. There's maybe 10. And they're, like, talking about how he, like, long-form board games, and I'm like, I've played many of those. So they have Dominion, there's, to Call, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I think there was Catan too, right?
No, Catan, they talk about Catan, but it's not in the box, isn't down there. Right. But One Night Ultimate Werewolf is down there.
Oh, yeah. That's
and
funny.
I looked at the others I didn't know, and I'm like, the max I saw was 120 minutes.
I guess I didn't pay enough attention to the specific games on the shelf, but...
Yeah, so I looked at all of them, because I was like, these are real board games. Mm-hmm. I've seen many of them. I've played them.
That's funny, because, yeah, they did talk about some other ones. Like, they just name-dropped some shit, because, like, it's funny, I think... I didn't realize that, like, everyone plays board games. It's not just us. Like, everyone plays these card games and board games nowadays. It's just, like, so unanimous. So, like, of course they're gonna name drop a bunch of those that, like, everyone knows to, like, get you to feel a little more connected to the characters, you know?
Yeah. And when Eve brings back up the board games, Grace is like, don't you have Cards Against Humanity or, like, Exploding Kittens? And I was like, girl, so you're the only one who doesn't play board games, because those ones are... what are referred to as party games. They're for, like, a lot of people, and they're not long. They're just meant to have, like, a good time, like an hour or so, where they were literally talking about Catan, and I don't remember the other one he mentioned, but, like, long-ass form board games. I've had board games that last, like, 4 hours or more, and so being like, oh, let's play Exploding Kittens to a board game group of friends is wild. Though Wendy did say, she's like, I don't want to have a board game where we fight about something I don't understand.
Yeah.
So fair enough. They pick up Uncanny Annie.
Yeah, creepy looking box.
And as I was doing my research for this, I meant to say this at the top, there is not a lot of behind the scenes, like, making of for this movie, because it's actually an episode for a horror, and I think it's horror anthology on the Hulu series, on Hulu.
I saw that.
It's called, I think, Into the Dark is the series, and so this is episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah, or episode 11 of... The entire series,
something like that, and
because it's only like an hour and
a half. I think it's one of the longer episodes.
Yeah,
but it was also, you can see in the cuts. I don't know if you noticed it. It was like made to have ads inserted.
Oh yeah,
into it.
yeah, 100%. Because it'll like fade to black and then just like fade back in and then give you like a reestablishing shot, just like as a reminder, and you're like, yeah, this was supposed to be
a made-for-TV type movie.
Yeah, advertised through.
They also they had 16 days to film it.
Oh wow!
They filmed it all in 16 days, and I think that kind of explains why I feel like the characters didn't have a lot of chemistry at the start. I think by the end we get a lot more like interpersonal dynamic where they feel a little bit more comfortable around each other, but like for the first half of this movie they do not feel comfortable around each other.
Yeah, that's why I think that's why I said earlier it's almost an awkward 20 minutes of just like watching these kids just like try to establish so many things. It's
in such a short time period. Like they had a lot to carry, and I think by the end of it they did pretty well.
Yeah. But also being like, fuck you, haha, like, fuck you, I don't care what you think, haha, like, just being dumbass, like, college bro shit.
Did you notice, so Michael puts a shirt on, right, before all of this happens, before everyone actually shows up, he puts a shirt on, and in my head I kept thinking it said Santa Claus. It says Satan Claus.
Satan Claus.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until much later on in the movie, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah. But they pick up the Uncanny Annie box, and all of the boys are like, we've never seen this before. And Michael's like, oh, it must be the guy who lived here before us. He was such a weirdo. And I was like, how long have you guys fucking lived in this house that you're still finding shit from someone else?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if I moved into a house and there was a basement full of crap that just, like, some dude left, I don't know if I would get through all of it when I first moved in. That'd be like a left until... Well, and especially as a college student, that might be one of those things where I'm just like, I don't have the fucking time for that. I ain't fucking with it.
That's fair. It's just the game was with their board game. So it feels like, obviously it's probably paranormal that it ended up there, like, you know, situationship. Yeah. But, like, if a board game ended up in your stack of board games and you're like, I don't know, it's not ours, and you just, I don't know, I think I'd be a little weirded out about it.
If it looked like that, and I had no idea where it came from, I'd burn it. Instead of playing it, I would just burn it. Or I'd at least Google it and be like, is this a thing that exists? Or am I about to, like, unseal something from hell?
Like,
yeah. Jesus Christ.
But on that note of finding things that don't belong, we found a gnome in our house that wasn't there before we went on vacation.
Did your mom?
It has to be one of our moms, obviously. It's a Halloween-themed gnome. He has an orange beard and, like, a hat that has, like, tarot cards on it. And I was just sitting, we were talking to our friend who's in town, and I was like... There's a gnome over there, and we all just turn, and it's on top of one of our bookshelves.
Oh my god.
I don't know. So weird things appearing in the house, we all just kind of stared. We did leave it, I guess. Like, we didn't move it.
I mean, as long as it didn't make you feel uncomfortable, like, you know, if it's evil, obviously, you'd be like, no, get this thing out of here, you know?
So I guess that's just the point of, like, you see weird shit in your house, and you kind of just leave it unless it's necessary to move it, I guess.
But, I mean, Eve, like... She brought up the whole stack of games, and everyone was just like, oh, what is this? And they start, you know, passing around the box, examining, like, you know, creepiness. Yes, and they end up landing on Uncanny Annie, mostly because the other one sounded boring. Because it was like, La Citia? Citta is one of them. And then the Heavens of Olympus, I think, is another one. And so... Wendy's looking at them and she's like, boring, like none of these look cool. And I think Michael's the one who picks up Uncanny Annie and is like, at least it's thematic and it's for ages 8 and up. I wrote down the rules because when I was doing my Reddit searches, everyone was fighting about the rules and what's happening in the movie. And so funny. I wrote them down so we can double check as we go. Sounds good. So on each turn you have to draw a challenge card. If you complete the challenge, you get to place a tile. The goal of the game is to spell out Annie. A-N-N-I-E. Yeah, with those tiles. With the tiles. So you have to win 5 challenges. Yes, so if you win a challenge card, you get to place a tile. On a fail, you have to draw a mischief card. It is your chance to survive, otherwise you are eliminated. That's rule, 1. Rule 2, the goal is to spell Annie's name with the tiles with her freaking letters on them. Pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. Rule 3, finish within an hour because Annie is keeping time. Now, if anyone plays board games, you know if it's a timed thing, they usually include like a, what's it called? Like a physical timer. An hourglass. An hourglass timer, or there's a mark tracker where after each round you move a tile, something like that. Yeah, in this game, it's a card. Yeah. I remember back when I was younger, my parents had a board game. I can't remember what it was called, but like it just had this like circular thing that you press the button and then it like makes a noise and counts down, and then once it hits 0 it buzzes, you know, like a lot of those toys like don't even let you like see the countdown or anything, but this game you're like there's nothing like that.
They place a card in the center that is meant to be a timer. It's the back of Annie, so it's her back on you're looking at her back on this card.
It's her facing away, and
Craig is the first one to bring it up, like, a card for a timer? That doesn't make any sense. And he's the GM Peter is like, I don't know, man, that's what it says. And they're like, all right, whatever, like, we'll figure it out as it goes. And he even says that. He's like, I think the cards will tell us the rest of it. Like, it just seems like kind of like
the cards dictate the game. Yeah,
or like a truth or dare situation where, like, oh, you do what the card says, and if you don't, you have a penalty. Yeah, is kind of what it ends up being. And Michael starts off the game. We get an outside establishing shot of the house on the street with all of the Halloween stuff, and then it all goes black. It just kind of gets sucked into this blackness that turns off almost all of the outside lights on the outside of the house. You watch all of their pumpkins just dissipate, no more light, and they're just sucked into the void. Mm-hmm. And the card Michael got is naming your fears. Mm-hmm. And so they go around naming their fears. Michael, after being prodded, because he's like, what if you're not afraid of anything? And they're like, oh my god, you dumb tough guy, just say something. And he's afraid of driving at night by himself. Yep. And everyone kind of like bullies him for a little bit. Grace jumps in, kind of taking the heat off a little bit, and is like, I'm afraid of eye drops. And they're like, what the fuck? And she said that she used to wear contacts, and with her eye drops, she was always afraid someone was going to switch them for crazy glue. Yeah. And that gave me a new fear as someone who uses eye drops.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Never trusting my eye drops in front of anyone else.
Yeah, those are going to be hidden away nice and safe. Wendy is next, and she has, I didn't write the actual name down of it, but she's afraid of surprises. Yeah. Like, deathly afraid of surprises. She mentions how, like, on her 13th birthday, she got a surprise party, and she's like, oh yeah, it's real. Like, I'm afraid of these. Peter says how small and irrelevant we are in the grand scheme of things, because I think, like, they said their majors earlier. I think he's a physics major or something like that, and he's just deep and dumb. Yeah. Craig doesn't say anything, because, like, they probe him, and he's like, it's not my card, I don't need to say anything. And then Eve just doesn't even, like, they just skip over hers entirely, doesn't give one. Yeah. And technically the challenge was just Michael's, so they pass the challenge. They get to put an A down for Annie. Mm-hmm. Grace draws next. It's Don't Lose Your Head. She gets to choose someone else, and she chooses Peter. The card states, like, they'll have to show what the price of love is, something like that. So it's just a for later card that doesn't really have much explanation, except Peter gets it, and they do the whole ooh thing, because it's like, choose someone you love or like, and she chooses Peter, even though they just met, and they're like, oh, all right, girl. Yeah. So now, but
then she has a vision. Like, she grabs the card, and she has, like, a vision of Peter getting, like, he's, like, looking at the camera, and, like, blood's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, so she places the end down and gets a weird vision, and you're like, is this the game? Is she a psychic? What the fuck? And she just, like, intensely stares at him, and he's like, oh, that's a stare. And they turn it into, like, a whole, like, flirty banter thing instead, but you can tell, like, she's visibly shaken by him getting stabbed and bleeding out.
Yeah, and, like, I gotta slow down on the drinks. It's like, you really think drinking would make you see that? Okay.
Hey, if we go with the assumption that she's a psychic, how else are you supposed to play out the vision she just saw?
That's fair.
Like, how would you be like, I just saw you fucking die in my head?
That's fair.
Mostly if you said that, everyone would be like, damn, man, you hit the pen a little too hard, like...
Yeah, honestly. Be like, dude, thank your bud tender next time you go in, because they give you some good shit.
So Michael starts bitching about how the game is too easy, and it's gonna take them less than an hour to finish. They already have an A and an N, and Wendy's like, yo, chill, you're gonna upset Annie, you're insulting her. And I don't know whether or not she's being serious or just, like, playing into the, like, oh, we're playing with Annie. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, she's right. Like, you're playing a haunted game. Don't insult the bitch that's in charge of it. Yeah. Oh, Wendy's up next.
Yeah, Wendy gets it. And what does the card say?
I don't remember. It's a vampire card, and she has to bite someone until they bleed on the neck.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And she's like, no, I ain't fucking doing that. And so she picks up the mischief card. And the mischief card tells her to go into the bathroom.
It tells her to find a mirror.
Yeah.
And so she essentially
find
has
a mirror
to...
and do, like...
Bloody Mary.
Yeah, except Annie's version.
And did you know there are different versions of Bloody Mary in other countries?
I feel like I knew that, but I'm gonna say no because I don't remember.
So there are, like, different versions of how, like, she appears and, like, the name and stuff. But, like, some people say, like, oh, you just see her head or, like, blood, like, all that kind of stuff. And so, specifically, it'd be Bloody Mary for the U.S., which is she's supposed to appear behind you in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And she hates this so much, and she swears if she dies in the bathroom, she's haunting all of them.
Yeah.
Which seems like foreshadowing, if I'm being honest. Just like, oh yeah, she's already talking about herself dying. Mm-hmm. But she goes into the bathroom, does the thing, she hears a giggle, she turns on the lights, and in the mirror, like, after you shower, the mirror's all foggy, it says, Annie thanks her by name for choosing her game.
Yeah.
Fucking creepy.
So it's like, thank you for playing my game, Wendy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Now, my only issue with that is if you do the writing on the mirror trope, you can't have the writing be in a font that I can use on my computer. You have to make it, like, handwritten or something, but, like, don't use a font.
It was so clean because, like, it didn't have any drips. It didn't have anything. It was super, super clean.
It was just very, like, perfectly, like, the words.
Yeah.
And, like, which is fine because it's just, like, whatever. It's a fucking one of those horror movies. But, like...
At least make it a little scary.
Yeah, because when she goes out of the bathroom, she's like, oh my god, who did that? Like, stop with the jokes. Like, I'm done. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you know, like, you wrote that in the mirror, and everyone's like, dude, no, you're crazy, like you're forking with us, you know?
They pretty much think she's pranking them, and Michael does the whole like, show me, I promise it's not that bad, and goes in there, and obviously there's nothing on the mirror, and he's a little dick about it, and blows some breath on the mirror, and then makes a little smiley face, and she's like, I hate you, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then...
And they walk back out, and then
did you catch that Annie's in the shower?
Yes, I did catch that. So when they walk out of the bathroom and turn the lights off, you see in the mirror behind Michael's head as he leaves. Annie's just, like, in the shower.
Yeah, she's
just kind of like, ooh.
Being weird.
Annie's watching.
And then Peter's up next. He draws the card for First Blood. Pierce death before it pierces you.
Yes.
This is when shit starts getting weird.
Yeah, because there's, like, some rumbling, and then, like, they hear the walking around upstairs.
They hear a bunch of thumping. It's shaking the light on the ceiling, and they're like, who the hell is upstairs? And Wendy's like, we were upstairs by ourselves. This is what made me think it was a frat house, because she's like, I'm pretty sure we were the only ones upstairs. And if it was just the 3 boys living there, I feel like that would have been like, we're all down here. So
yeah.
That kind of also leads into the frat house of like, I think we were the only ones upstairs. Like,
yeah, but... Oh, God, I'm so bad with names.
Grace
ends up, she's like, where's your tools? And she ends up going and grabbing a fucking power drill.
Yeah, I was expecting her to grab a hammer, and then she comes back with the...
Me too. I mean, she came back with that. I was like, well, you know, honestly, it's not the worst idea. But no, everyone's like, dude, what are you doing? She's like, I'm gonna go fucking scare whoever's up there. Like, what the hell?
And good for her. Like...
Yeah.
I love Grace throughout this entire movie. There's a few things where I'm like, I don't know if she's a badass or dumb, but she's like, I'm not taking shit from anybody. I'm going. Mm-hmm. However, she does go upstairs in a horror movie, which is always a bad trope.
Yeah, but Craig goes with her, and...
So does Peter. Michael stays down. He's like, oh, I'll just stay down here and make sure the girls are safe.
Yeah. They go up, and they hear the noise coming from Michael's room.
Yeah, Michael's bathroom.
And so they go in, and this is always something that I wonder, like, if you think there's an intruder on the other side of the door, why would you open the door and then, like, look around and then, like, look over and then, like, sorry, I'm saying like so many times, and then turn the light on and look back, like, wouldn't you bust the door open, flip the light on as soon as you could, and, like...
do stuff, yeah.
I don't know. Dude took too long to turn the light on, is all I'm saying.
They play with darkness in this movie quite a bit, and I think more people would be more with light, is the best way I can say it. Yeah. Like, I think I would have all of the lights on, because, like, every time they leave a room, they start turning lights off and stuff, and it's like, if creepy shit is happening, and I'm around, I'm gonna leave all the lights on. I'm gonna check every room, so if the lights go off, I know someone was in that damn room.
Yeah, see, that's why a lot of horror movies establish that, like, oh, the power's out. Mm-hmm. And that, like, there's always that scene where, like, oh, the power's out, go get the candles. And then the next scene is the house is filled with candles.
Yeah.
You know, like, you could at least do that, because then it's easy to blow out those candles. That's like it's an easy out for fixing the lighting to be dark.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, that's just me.
No, they turn all the lights off. They are starting to leave the room because they're like, there's nothing here. I don't know what the hell it was. We're just going to go back downstairs. And so the boys exit the room first and stop dead in their track, and they're like, oh, fuck. And you just see, the close-up of their faces looking down the hall, and you don't know what they're looking at. And then Grace is like, what the hell's going on? Like, move. And she gets in the hallway, and then you see this shadowy visage with a weapon. Mm-hmm. What would you... An axe? A thing? No, I don't know what it is.
It looked like a thick steak. Like a vampire's stabbing steak, but like thick, but like with I don't know what it's called, a cross at the end, you know. It's not used for like, it's not a weapon. It's used for like... It's
some kind of tool, like an old-timey tool.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's just a big cylindrical type.
It's like if you got a wooden bat and stuck a railroad stake on it.
Yeah.
It has more in it, but that's the majority of what I can...
I think my brain just, like, had a hard time comprehending exactly what it was. That's why I'm having trouble recounting what it is now.
Yeah, no, it's just a weird weapon. Grace's eyes glow this time for her premonition she gets. And...
I did the first time, I think.
I might have missed it.
It was very brief, I think, okay. But yeah.
So you get a full shot of her eyes glowing like very white, light blue. Mm-hmm. And she gets another premonition of Peter dying, and Peter's like, fuck this, and runs at it with scissors, and then Death, as we'll come to know it, grabs him around the neck and is choking him, and he can't stab him, and Grace is yelling, stab him before he stabs you, remember the card, and he gets tossed to the ground, and there's a scuffle, and they're screaming, and Michael and Wendy come upstairs, Eve stays downstairs. I can't blame her.
Yeah.
And he ends up being able to stab Death, and he dissipates.
Yeah.
And they all run downstairs. And
they're all freaking out at this point.
Yeah, and they grab Eve, and she's like, what's going on? And they're like, we need to leave. And they bolt out the door, and they stop on the porch because they realize they're in the void.
Yeah. They go out, and they're like, are all the lights off? And, you know, they're like, no, like, it's too dark. And I mean, it's good because they go through all of the questions of, like, what is this? Like, what's going on? Like, they're like, there's no sidewalk, but it's solid. You can stand on it.
Yeah, Grace just jumps off the porch.
Yeah, like, Grace jumps off the porch. She's like, oh, it's solid. Like, it's kind of cool that they establish that, like, everyone does kind of what they can to, like, pick at it logically before then being like, oh my god, like, yeah, we're just in a fucking void, you know?
Yeah, because Peter ends up going down, and our smart little boy goes down and starts talking about the Large Hadron Collider, which is for particle physics. I'm actually super interested in the Hadron Collider, I'm not gonna lie.
It's crazy shit.
Yeah, theoretical physics is one of my jams, and essentially he's saying is the Large Hadron Collider does things to help prove theoretical physics. That's the whole point of it. And one of the questions it's hoping to answer is whether or not there are extra dimensions that we can enter. He also is talking about, like, oh, if it exploded or if something happened to it, we could be in an aftermath of that. And then he dies.
Yeah, he gets... Yeah.
Pierced through the, like, right under your sternum, like, through your back and through your sternum, exactly how Grace imagined him dying.
Yep, and then he gets yanked into the void.
And no one can actually tell why he died. This is one of the things that in Reddit were like, why the fuck did he die? And then, like, the group tries to explain it as Annie thinking he was trying to run away instead of to play the game. But, like, he wasn't that far away from the porch, so it kind of gives that feeling of, like, oh, you can't leave the house now. Like, establishing that instead of it being, like, you know, in other horror movies, it's like, oh, the killer's outside, oh, there's a storm. Like, it kind of gives you the trapped feeling of you can't leave the house now.
Yeah, it's like, it's similar spatial scariness as, like, Grave Encounters, which we talked about.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, the never-ending, like, shit's changing, or it's just like, you're like, it's like a void almost, you know? It's like, it's terrifying because you don't know, like...
Yeah. Or like the Mist in Silent Hill type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
My other point to the Peter's death, though, I forgot to mention this, I just saw it in my notes. Could he have died from Grace's card? Because Grace's card is you'll find the price for love, and Grace was technically the first one to jump off the porch and didn't die. And then when Peter did, he died. Did he take the death from Grace?
That would make sense. Oh, yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense.
Because that makes more sense to me than him dying from running away, because obviously he wasn't trying to run. They never bring up Grace's card again.
Do they not establish in the movie that they think it's because they thought that, Annie thought he was trying to run?
That's what they think, but that's not what I think.
Yeah.
I think because she had the card, and it was like a save till later card, that Grace should have died first, because she left the porch first, so she was running away first.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Like, I agree. I just hope they're wrong.
I think I'm right.
Yeah, it's a cooler theory.
Yeah. Well, they never bring up the card again, so what was the point if that wasn't it, right? Like, they never talk about that card again and what it does.
I don't know.
So back in the house, Grace notices that Annie's time card has changed, and she is now like 3/4 view peeking around her shoulder. She is the first to notice all of the changes all of the time. This girl keeps them on track. She's like, we have to play the game, do the thing. She puts an N down because they technically stab death, so they get another letter, so they have A-N-N now. Michael throws the card and is like, we're done playing, we're not going to play this. And then the cards, like, rewind and stack themselves back on the table. Yeah. Like they didn't even move in the first place. They find Peter on the box cover, and they're like, oh shit. So everyone on the box cover are people who have died. Yeah. They compare it to Jumanji. Yeah. And they made a comparison to Candyman earlier, and, like, I don't mind the hints of, like, the board games and, like, kind of basing it in reality, but I don't like it when they talk about other movies in movies. Yeah. It always pulls me out of it.
Yeah, I don't like that either, because, like, you always imagine that a movie is just in its own universe. But then when you're trying to establish that, like, no, it's in your universe, but it's in your universe where, like, this stuff can also happen. And you're like, okay, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't know.
It's a little bit of too much trying to suspend your disbelief, right? It's a little bit too much for me. They all decide to grab weapons, and their weapons are all god-awful. Yeah. Except I think Michael's the only one who grabs a knife. So Michael grabs the knife, Grace has the power drill, Wendy grabs a beer bottle that is not broken. She just has her beer bottle. Someone grabs a screwdriver.
A screwdriver.
Yeah, a flathead screwdriver.
Yeah, I'm just reiterating that. You're getting attacked by ghosts.
Well, someone grabs, like, a spray can.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Raid or something.
Someone does grab, like, Raid.
I don't know. It's some kind of aerosol can.
I think that was fucking Eva. Or Eve. Jeez.
Eva. Yeah, so they all don't have great weapons. And then we've established to this point that at least 2 of those boys are nerds, and you're telling me one of them doesn't have a samurai sword somewhere? Or a buster, like, sword? Or
some sort of weapon. Like, there's gotta be something.
A halo sword. Like, one of them has some kind of replica weapons somewhere.
Yeah, anything. But, no. So they all sit down, and they continue with trying to play the game.
And it's Craig's turn. He draws the Prankster, which is a 30-minute challenge.
Yeah, which... The point of the challenge is essentially don't let the prankster take the card from you. And so they're all like, what the fuck does that mean? And then, like, you hear giggling from this, like, but it's not like Annie's giggling. It's like an older, like, senile man.
I compared it to, like, goblin giggling, like goblin sounds. It's like, because there's muttering and weird things like that.
But then there's little goblin thief sounds.
Yes, that's the best way to put it, for sure. And so they all, like, kind of bolt away from the table. Stuff starts getting thrown around, and Michael's like, it's a fucking poltergeist. And they're like, don't let him get the card. And so Craig jumps over the couch, tries to grab the card, and the card is, like, glued to the table. So he just slams his hands on it. He's like, I can't move the card. Like, this is where I have to be. And my entire thought process is, they're just like the girls try and draw him into the kitchen. They're like, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. It's a 30-minute challenge. You guys have an hour to beat this game. Yeah. And who knows how much time has passed so far. You're going to waste an hour doing one challenge? Like, draw another fucking card. Like, play while it's happening. And though I get, like, it's crazy and hectic, like, if they would have lasted that full half hour, they would have lost the game.
I wonder if their intention was to, like, do that and also continue and just like try and like finish like more tasks while that one was like going on, maybe.
I think they were, so what, the feeling I got, because Wendy and Grace, yeah, it's Grace. Wendy and Grace are like, we'll draw him into the kitchen. I think they were trying to like trap him somewhere so then they could continue. And he appears between, like behind Wendy, but in like behind Grace, so he's like in the middle of them. And when Wendy turns around, she fucking chucks the bottle at Grace, and Grace gets knocked in the head with a glass beer bottle, collapses to the floor, obviously, and she's like, oh fuck, I'm so sorry.
Like a true hit. I mean, when Wendy came up to her and was like, are you okay? She didn't even, like, she barely moved. Like, you were like, oh, like, she really got hit. It
was bad. She's like bleeding from the head a bit, and then you cut back into the living room. Eve tries to hide under a table, and the prankster appears like right next to her face, and you get a bunch of like jump scares like that. But
it's just an old white dude with like an old Colonel Sanders type dude almost,
just with like stringy gray hair.
Yeah,
he's just
he's got the mustache, the curly mustache.
Does he?
Did he? I thought he did. Or maybe not like super curly, but it was just like, you know.
He had scruff and was wrinkly, and he was just a wrinkly old man, which, I mean, fair, I guess. That's creepy. He had, like, the crack nails, too. Like, every single one of his nails was a coke nail.
He kind of reminded me of in Aladdin when Jafar tries to play the old crazy dude.
Ew.
Yeah.
He's gross. His nails are yellow. He's gross. He's wrinkly. I guess old people are gross. My bad.
Yeah. Where he finally shows up behind Craig.
Who has his eyes closed and he's just has his hands on the table just waiting.
Eyes closed, hands on the table, which I'd probably do the same at that point. Mm-hmm. But the prankster comes up and like licks his face a little bit. Craig opens his eyes and the prankster's literally right in front of his face, and it scares the shit out of him. And he takes his hands off the cards and looks away for half a second and then looks back, and of course the card is gone, and you're like,
you fucker.
You fucking goddamn it.
Just keep your eyes closed. And they set a timer on the phone, too, so it wasn't even like they had to guess at what 30 minutes was. Like, Craig set a timer for 30 minutes. He just should have kept his damn eyes closed, because the prankster, like, could only be seen by the people he wants to be seen by.
Yeah.
So the whole time he's messing with Craig, the other people in the room can't see he's messing with Craig.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, I mean, it's creepy. I think I would just shut my eyes forever. And just be like, everyone else play around me. It's fine. We're fine.
Yep.
They lost the challenge, so they don't get a letter, which means Craig has to draw a mischief card. And the mischief card addresses him by name, which creeps everyone out. And he has to play spin the bottle and get a kiss. And instead of using any of the other beer bottles they have, they use the broken one that hit Grace in the head.
Yeah.
And obviously it has to land on Eve, because the game wants to cause drama.
Yeah. So Craig and Eve stand up. They just go in for a kiss. And then there's like a sudden jolt and like a shot from below, like looking up at both of them. Then it cuts and you see that Craig has like stabbed Eve in the stomach with the broken bottle. But when it cuts to Craig's face, he's like possessed. Like his eyes are like...
They're all blacked over. He is not himself. And you can see the moment it switches from being possessed to him being normal. And he's profusely apologizing to Eve, and everyone's like, what the fuck did you do? Why would you do that? And he's like, Eve, you know I would never hurt you. And she's like, I know. Like, just fucking get on with it. And they patch up her stomach, because it wasn't like... It was deep, but the way the beer bottle was broken is like the way... Unless he pushed it in with more force and like cut a circle out of her flesh. Like,
I don't think it was that deep.
It wasn't. And that's what I was like saying. Like, it wasn't...
a tiny bit.
The jagged edges on there weren't that deep that it was like really bad. I do wish they would have put blood on the bandage as just like a visual effect thing. Or not a visual effect, a practical effect.
Yeah.
But like that bandage is white the entire time. Like you don't see any extra blood. And I feel like with how many cuts there were and like the one bandage, I feel like it would have bled through at least a little bit, in my opinion. But that's me being picky on my visual effects.
No, I get it.
Oh yeah. Why did Craig stab her? Like, he did the mischief card just fine, and the only reason I could come up with is it's because it's a mischief card. It's a penalty card. A penalty had to come out of him getting a kiss from his ex.
Yeah,
It was just a weird thing. Like, it felt like nothing should have happened. He should have just kissed her and it would have been fine. But like, Annie decided, no, I'm gonna make you stab the woman you love.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fine. Again, this isn't like...
It's camp, man.
This isn't like the horror, like Halloween spectacular, of the year or anything.
It's like a nothing movie.
It's a Halloween movie.
It's specifically like watching a Halloween special of a TV show you like.
Yeah.
You know it's not going to be great, and it has all the normal tropes in it, but you watch it because, like, it's entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, it was definitely entertaining.
I enjoyed it.
And it's done by Blumhouse, so, like, I don't think we mentioned that earlier. But
we did not. I'm here for it.
Yeah. I was there for it.
Like I said, I enjoyed it. This is the second time I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll watch it again. It's just like a fun movie.
Sorry, getting off track.
Eve is next. She draws the Truth or Truth card.
Yep.
Which Wendy reads it because nothing happens with the card, and so she hands it to Wendy, and then it changes.
Yeah.
And I didn't fully understand that either. I guess so. Like
it's just prompting that someone else had to read the questions.
Yeah, which is I guess like someone else. It could have been anyone. Wendy reads it to her. She has to answer 5 questions truthfully to put another letter down. And she answers all 5. It's a secret where she's like, "Oh, do you have a secret?" "Yes, I have a secret." "Are you willing to, like, why are you keeping the secret? Would it hurt someone?" Like, just standard questions. It doesn't make her reveal what the secret is, but it makes her, like, cry a little as she stares at Craig, being like, it would hurt him. It would hurt the person I love, yes.
Yeah.
But they win that challenge, so they get to put an I on the board. If you're keeping track, that's ANNI. They're really close to being done with the game.
Yeah, they're really close.
And so next in line is Michael, who gets the same card. He's like, it's the same card. And they've been putting the cards underneath the stack. It's not a discard pile wire accidentally like got put on back on top. It literally gets put under. And so it goes to reach for a new card, and all of the cards are glued down. He can't move one. Yeah. He has to answer this card. And so Wendy gets to read it again. And this is where I was kind of like figuring out what her role was. And I was like, oh, is she the glue? Is she the mom friend? I was like, maybe this time it's just because she's Michael's boyfriend or Michael's girlfriend, and she's going to ask him about his secret. Mm-hmm. She's like, I don't care what it is. I just want to get the fuck out of here. Just answer truthfully. I won't be mad. And he's like, asks the same questions. Do you have a secret? And he's like, yes. And then the second one is like, are you willing to divulge it tonight? And he's like, what the fuck does it matter? And he points to Eve, and it's like, it's her secret. It's not mine, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you know what? No, I don't know what the card's talking about. I have no secrets. Breaking the freaking rules. Because and everyone talks about this too. They're like, why didn't he just get to do a mischief card? Or like, blah, blah, blah. And like, they get really mad about the scene. And it's like, he didn't say he wasn't willing to reveal a secret. He backtracked and said, I don't have a secret.
Yeah.
Which is different, because one of the Reddit forums I was reading was like, he just said he wasn't ready to divulge it. Why couldn't he have just like continued on and it had been fine? It was like, no, because he said he didn't have a secret.
Yeah. And he broke the rules, so he literally just vanishes.
Yeah, the lights go out, they're trying to huddle up, he vanishes, could not find him, and they're like, where the hell did he go? They're looking around, he's not on the box. You kind of get cuts from like him being out in the void, and he's trying to get into the house, and the house keeps going farther and farther away, and then we didn't really explain how this board game is, like, physically set up. So it's a board game, like a board. And then there's the pile of challenge cards, the pile of mischief cards, and then Annie's card in the middle. And then there's a black box that goes at the top of the board game. And it's never really talked about, like, what the black box is. And it either opens now or has been open, and Peter looks at it and, like, moves it, and the entire house shakes. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And he sets it back down, and in the box, there's this little car just revving around, going inside, and he's like, what the hell is in the box? What is that? And then we cut back to Michael, who gets hit by the car, but instead of getting hit by the car, it hits him into a flashback.
Yeah.
And we get the full story of what happened to Tony.
Yeah, so this flashback, they're like driving in the rain, and they pull over, and Tony gets out of the driver's seat and pukes next to the tire, and then Michael gets out, and they get into an argument over, who should drive home, and Tony mentions something about Craig being one of his best friends, in a defensive way, like, you're like, oh, like, what's Michael doing,
Yeah, because Craig is like, what, did I break up your makeout session? And he's like, Craig is one of my best friends. And he's like, Michael's like, what I do is my own business, and you don't need to be involved, and blah, blah, blah. And they get into an argument, and Michael shoves Craig, and he hits the hood of the car really fucking hard and falls to the floor. And he's like, what, you got nothing to say? Blah, blah. And he's like fighting with him while he's on the ground, and Tony is just like going through it, man. He's like coughing and like trying to get up and can't, and he's just like wandering. He's not doing well on the ground. Like, he just threw up because he's drunk, and now he probably got a concussion he did not brace himself well on that car because drunk.
Yeah.
And so Michael gets in the car and is like, walk it off, man, whatever, like, walk in the rain, do whatever, like, I'll see you at home, and leaves Tony there, drives off. You don't get, there's a female voice in the back being like, we can't just leave him, like, Tony, and like all that kind of stuff. You never see who it is. And they drive off, and then you watch Tony like try and crawl his way like out of the street, and he ends up like slipping and falling into a pothole full of water.
Yeah, and he's face first in the water, and
that's how you die on less than 6 inches of water.
Yep, he drowns.
Current Michael picks him out of the pothole and is like, I thought you would come home. I thought you would apologize. If I would have known, I wouldn't have done this, all this kind of stuff. And then the body disappears, and then dead Tony drowns Michael in the same pothole that he died in.
Yep. And we see Michael bite the dust finally after all of that, because, I mean, you knew he was going to die. Like, he
was being a dick.
Yeah.
He died. Dick. And the key appears on the game box in a little bit. At first he wasn't there, and then later he appears on there. So yeah, definitely dead. Grace, again, being our girl, is on top of it, and like, we have to keep playing. We can't just stop. We have an hour to play. Like, we have an hour to finish. We need one more letter. And Wendy is all defensive, and she's like, I don't want to play anymore. Like, all of this stuff is happening. Like, what's the point? And they're like, you're right. Like, the only way we can get out of this is to continue playing. Like, we have to keep going. There's no other way. And then they're like, maybe if we win, we can get our friends back.
Yeah.
So Grace draws a card and is the card of mourning. You get to take a break, and like,
they just get to cry about the fact that Michael's gone.
And everything else that's fucking
because they were questioning, like, oh my god, like, we need to go get Michael, or Wendy was. But then, like, they get the card for mourning, and then, like...
Oh, that's where Michael appears on the box.
Yeah, that's when Michael appears on the box with his Santa hat and Satan Claus shirt.
The card also states you have to draw another card after your mourning break, so Grace draws another card, and it's hide and seek. You have a set time frame, not a set time frame, you have to hide, not be seen, and then make it back home. And they're like, where the fuck is home? And so they all split up, and Grace is like, this is a terrible idea, we shouldn't split up. And Craig is like, it's fine, we don't know where home is. And so he takes Eve, and they go hide towards the kitchen. Grace starts going upstairs, and Wendy hasn't moved, and she's like, Wendy, hide. And so Wendy goes into the basement.
Yeah.
And so they all split up, you get their hiding places. They're all really bad hiding places too. Grace hides in the bathtub. Eve and Craig hide in the pantry. I guess Wendy's is probably the best because she has all of the basement to hide in.
Yeah.
And then as it jumps from view to view, there is the visage of death again, and there was one in each spot that they're hiding, which is so unfair.
Yeah.
It should just, whatever. Annie's a cheater, is what I'm saying. Annie cheats throughout this entire fucking game. Then the alarm on the phone goes off, and all of Death's visages disappear and then reappear by the board game and are thrashing around thinking someone's there, and so they realize that he's attracted to sounds. And so Wendy throws something to get him out of the way, locks him in the basement. It has her leg between the banister of the stairs and the basement door, and she calls everyone downstairs, and she's like, go to the game board, like, we'll figure it out. And then Craig is like, okay, and he like takes over for her at the door, and he sends them all to the game board, and they're like, nothing's happening, and he's like, put your hand, like, mess with the box, do something. And so they all slam their hands on the game board except Craig, and they wait, and the pounding on the basement door from Death stops. They're like, oh, yay, we did it. And I'm just like, Craig, go home. Craig, go home. Craig, go do something with the fucking game board.
Stop standing next to the door and go to the game board. Do anything.
And then you hear the flesh squelch.
Because he doesn't go to the board fast enough. He gets stabbed. I don't know where, because he just, like, starts bleeding from the eyes, and he's got that, like, look.
The lead paint stare?
Yeah.
Non-existence. He's dead. He gets stabbed through the door. I'm assuming because he bled through his eyes. Maybe it was in the head. But, like, then when Death comes around the corner and he's trying to yank it out, it seems like it's more in his torso.
Yeah,
I don't really know.
It looked like maybe the neck. Because, like...
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. But, yeah. So this visage of Death slays Eve's only love or whatever.
And she really tried. She was trying to confess to him about the whole... everything that happened with Tony. Because I think you're supposed to be able to tell. It's Eve's voice in the car. Did you tell while the flashback was happening?
No.
Okay.
But...
inferences and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we'll find out here in a second. Eve is the one that was in the car that night when Tony died. She was the one hooking up with Michael, which is why Tony was like, Craig is my best friend.
Yeah.
But Eve is trying to confess this to Craig while they're in the pantry, and he's like, well, all the time in the world, once we get out of here, it can wait.
Yeah.
And so it's even more sad
when
he dies, because she was trying to, build a relationship with him again and all that kind of stuff.
But that doesn't get to happen. And the girls sit down and...
Grace pulls a mischief card because they failed hide and seek because Craig died.
Yeah.
Also, poor Grace, she was the friend who got pulled into all of this, who didn't actually know Tony, didn't know anything, was just here trying to support a friend.
Yeah. Doing a good job of it, too.
She's doing such a good job. And she's also the one who's, like, on top of it, of keeping everyone in-game, being like, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And she pulls the mischief card, and it's the quiet game. Hold perfectly still and don't make a sound. And I guess it's just for Grace, because Eve and Wendy both start instantly looking around, trying to figure out what's happening. And Grace, to her credit, freezes, doesn't even blink. Mm-hmm. And I was like, she should have had a second to, like, position herself. And I don't think blinking should count as moving. No. I don't think that's fair.
No.
But she blinks. And the prankster is back. He's the one fucking with her. And you already know she has a thing with eyes, and he starts getting close to her eye with his little fingy and his long-ass nail.
Yeah, so he tries to go poke her eye, and it makes her blink. And then the prankster is just like, he starts laughing because he's like, I got you. And then he just slits her fucking throat. Which
she should be allowed to blink. That is so unfair. Yeah. But again, Annie is a cheater. And her throats get slit, and there's blood splurting everywhere, and she's leaned back in a recliner, and they just stare at her body for a hot second.
Yeah, and then you have a shot of Wendy doing, like, the, like, scream, like, no!
I do gotta say, the girls, like, all three girls have really solid screams.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when they scream, it feels visceral, and it feels not forced. Like, they are good scream queens.
Agreed. I agree.
In this movie. And we're back to Wendy's turn. Honestly, at this point, like, I would just kill myself.
Yeah.
Because if they got out of this, they are going to be branded as mass murderers. All of their friends went missing. There is zero trace of anything. There are no other fingerprints in this house. Like, you are going to most likely get tried for your friends' disappearances. Mm-hmm. Because no one's going to believe you got Jumanji'd.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, no. It's quite the conundrum. But Wendy ends up drawing the wager, which this spurts her and Eve and, like, the couch and the game board into the void. And then they, like, get up and they're looking around, and then Annie shows up.
Creepy ass
Annie.
Whoever plays Annie did a wonderful job.
Yeah, she did a great job.
They do, like, this editing effect for her, like, where her body, like, twitches and it, like, is weird.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, yeah, her jerky movements. And I'm like, they're not really jerky movements. They're more like twitches with, like, an added something on top of it to make it even creepier.
Yeah, there's no smoothness to it. And every time she moves, it's like you hear bones cracking.
Yeah, it's weird. It makes me think of, like, the wooden dolls, like wooden ventriloquists, like when they that creak of movement.
Yeah. So Annie strikes up a deal and is essentially just like, I'll wager. You're like, tell me what you want, and then
we both have to wager something we're willing to lose, or like something we don't want to lose.
Yeah, that we would be pained to lose or something like that.
So Wendy's like, I want all my friends back, and she's like, that's fair. I will stake that. And then she's like, for that, I'll take one life. And Wendy's like, fuck it. Yeah, you can have my life. And she's like, no, I want Eve's life because that would hurt you more. And Wendy's like, I'm not fucking staking my friend's life. And then you get the cacophony of voices of other people who have played these games. And Annie's like, oh, where have I heard that before?
Yeah.
Ugh. Then this is where Eve is like, no, I deserve it. This is all my fault. Everything is awful. And she confesses the entire thing to Wendy. And this is where you, like, for sure learn that she was hooking up with Michael when Tony died. And she's...
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, she didn't do anything about Tony and that whole thing, and Wendy ends up slapping Eve in the face, which...
Yeah, deserved.
Yeah, deserved.
And, also what made me happy about the scene is she's like, hooking up with my boyfriend was more important than Tony's life. Like, she is more concerned about the fact that Tony died than the fact that her best friend slept with her boyfriend.
Like,
which
priorities.
I appreciate.
Yeah, 100%.
And then after all of this, like, Eve is like, I'm so sorry, like, blah, blah, blah. And Wendy's like, yeah, fucking take her life. Okay. And I'm like... that plays both ways. Like, I feel like Eve had already offered herself up and was like, the only way that Wendy will concede to this is I have to tell her what happened, because then she'll also agree to give me up.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like it's also a clear her conscience type thing, that she's been hiding this for over a year, and I really fucking hope she wasn't sleeping with Michael in the meantime.
Yeah.
Because they don't delve into that either.
Bad. Yeah. But yeah, and then, sorry, a lot happened. Lots happened so far, so my brain's trying to package it.
Picks up the dice and is like, if it lands on me, you walk free. If it lands on death, she does another rhyme. Everything in this game is rhymey. Anyways, if it lands on death, they lose. And she gets to keep the friends and take Eve. It would totally have landed on Annie.
Yep.
And then Annie, like, tilts her head and the dice spins and it lands on death.
Yeah, she pulled a fucking Qui-Gon Jinn from the Phantom Menace when he's trying to gamble for the fucking parts of the ship. Guido.
Yes.
Fucking hell. It's like, just, you know...
Little nudge. No one noticed.
Weigh the dice a little bit with my force powers.
Annie looks at Wendy and is like, you take my price for me. And so she's telling Wendy to kill Eve for her. And Wendy picks up the fucking power drill and holds it to the side of Eve's head. And I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna drill into the side of her best friend's face. That's harsh. Even for some, like, what the fuck? And then Wendy's like, no, and turns the power drill on Annie like it's a real gun. And then Annie snaps her wrist and freezes Eve. And Eve's like, I can't move. And then snaps Eve's neck. And it's just like... She looks around and Wendy disappears and she's like, oh, Wendy, you can't hide from me in here. And I was like, yeah, bitch, like, where would you hide? Yeah. And she gets up from under the table and has a line. I think she just says, fuck you, Annie.
She's just like, I'm fucking done with this shit. Or, like, something to that effect. And then just, like, shoves the power drill into the black box.
And just drills it and there's black ichor falling out and Annie's screaming and her face is dissolving and... She's just there drilling and then she sits
it's a
back.
lot of that for like probably like
solid few seconds.
Like 20 seconds.
It was a long
a long time of just like screaming and goo and like power drilling and I was like, okay.
It was a lot.
Annie evaporates and then all of a sudden she like sits up and like it cuts over to like the window next to the stairs and you can like actually see
the house comes back.
There's like some light. Yeah, like, she's back in the house, in the living room.
Lights are back on. She wanders around screaming her friend's name, and then there's, like, a pounding on the door, and she's like, what the fuck? And so she, like, looks around and picks up the power drill again, and there's another pounding, and she, like, slowly goes towards the door, and then you hear a car drive away, and their Postmates beer got delivered.
Oh, yeah, we never mentioned this. They ordered Postmates.
Of 1 pack.
For beer.
A 6-pack. Yeah. You know how expensive that would be to be Postmated?
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
But also, like, you know, she picks up the beer, but, like, the dude already drove away. They can't just, like, leave the alcohol at your doorstep. They have to check your ID before they can, like, leave the alcohol there. Yeah.
I've never, like, DoorDash or Postmated any alcohol.
I mean, obviously I don't drink anymore, but, like, you know, I did back in the day. Postmate it once or twice, and... Yeah, they have to, like, check your ID, which is why I barely, like, never did it, because I fucking hated...
Didn't want to answer the door?
Yeah, no, dude.
That's the whole point of Postmates, so you didn't have to see people.
Contactless delivery till I die.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, like...
That makes more sense.
That wouldn't happen. They would have just, like, taken it, and she would have been like, what the fuck, pounded on the door, but at least I'm back, maybe? Because, again, like, she looks outside, and it's all back to normal.
Yeah, like, you can see the house across the street, you can see everything outside.
She brings the beer in, and she goes into the dining room or whatever, just, you know, puts the beer down and starts walking around, keeps calling out for people.
This entire, like, because this is, like, a minute venture that she's doing all this, I was like, put the E down. Put the E down, like, finish the game. Wendy put the E down, and then she does sit at the table and puts the E down. And I was like, thank God.
She finally walks over, she puts the E down and, like, pushes it against the rest of the letters, and it kind of, like, does this noise and, like...
Like a resounding, like, thud of, like, something closing.
Yeah. And then she's just, like, she just sits back for a moment, and then just, like, relaxes her head back.
And Annie appears.
Annie appears and is like, ha, you thought it was that easy? And then it cuts to just Wendy's feet, and
the screaming
and the mangling and the gross noises, because again, Annie just cheated and nobody was ever gonna win. It was all just for the funds, and they did the stereotypical trope of, you know, oh, they survived. Just kidding.
Yeah, no final girl in this one, and like we stated earlier, it's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Because there's no way to talk your way out of the situation.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's all the trauma to begin with.
Yeah, the years of therapy. I don't think you could go to therapy enough for the rest of your life to deal with some of what she saw.
Well, and then you go to therapy, and, like, if your therapist looks up this quote-unquote case that you just went through and is like, this shit never happened, like, bitch be tripping, she's got, like, psychosis, then you'd be getting told the entire time, oh, what you just imagined that happened, that didn't really happen, what actually happened to your friends, this board game isn't evil, like, the unintentional gaslighting that would happen, the doubt of watching your friends all die, and, like, she would be more fucked up. And honestly, again, death is preferred in this whole situation.
Yeah. Which, for some reason, and again, I think this is why I call it just a straight up Halloween movie, is because not only does it take place on Halloween night, but that is like a very stereotypical, like, Halloween movie thing to do, is to just kill everyone. Yeah. It's just supposed to be like a fuck fest of watching people die, you know?
Exactly. I agree. It's a fun movie. I don't know if I would necessarily recommend it to someone who actually enjoys horror movies.
Yeah.
I think this would be a recommendation for someone who was like, oh, it's spooky season, what should I watch? Not like a horror movie person.
Yeah. No. If you want a recommendation for something that will, like, make you feel dread, it's not this movie.
No, this is like maybe a fun movie to throw on in the background if you're having a Halloween get-together or, like, doing your laundry.
Because if you focus too hard on the acting or the written script, you're gonna judge it, because the script was a little bumpy, I'm not gonna lie. Well, but it's okay.
The director was like, he had 3 weeks to, like, go over the script before they had the 16 days of filming, and he said it was still being revised when he got it.
Oh, jeez.
So, like, again, and the whole thing with Into the Dark, the whole series, is that they have a month to put out a movie. Because I guess the whole premise is, like, once a month they release a movie, and it's based on either a holiday or a day within that month. So they have a month to put it out.
Interesting.
And going into it with that thought process of, yeah, you had a limited time, like, obviously you just got whoever you got, like, you didn't get a cast and deal with chemistry and like fudge, like, there was no room for ad-libbing, there was no room for error. You had to go in and do it and then hope it was good.
Yeah, and I mean, it was fine. Again, like, no complaints, honestly. It was just
that's a fun movie.
It's a fun little ghostly romp.
I would not play this board game.
No, it's like, I don't even know what it's just it's a shit board game. It
would not even be a fun normal board game.
No, I don't even know how you can make that anything fun.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Follow our Instagram and threads at No Cell Service Pod. Until next time.